Hi, I'm Erin. This is my first YouTube video. The theme of these episodes is basically going to follow my journey from where I am now until a bodybuilding competition in September, which I've applied for. So I'll give you a bit of context as to maybe why I've done this and also kind of what you're going to expect in this first episode. So I've obviously not yet achieved the results, but I thought that'd be quite cool to kind of follow the journey as I'm actually doing it and take any hints and tips along the way if that's what you're interested in. So it's going to cover a range of things, but to give you a bit of context, I have yo-yoed in weight my entire life. I've been quite active and I've enjoyed things like cheerleading, dancing, so I've always been quite, I'm not going to say the word fit, because I was overweight it was definitely harder to do it like that, but I've yo-yoed in weight and it got to the point I just had, I don't know if anyone else had this, kind of the aha moment, you know? So where my aha moment was, I went bowling with some friends and I wore these baggy pants, you know, kind of baggy trousers that you'd wear travelling or on a plane. They're so loose and comfortable because you're going to be sat down for quite a while, so they were that kind of style. I'll try and add a photo in if I can find one. And went bowling and the trousers split. I was obviously really mortified, and when I say split I mean like right up the arse. And that was a bit of a problem in that I was really conscious of my arms anyway. I always have been. I've always covered them up with kimonos or cardigans or jumpers, kind of what I'm wearing now. Like, I'll always cover them up. And in that moment I had two choices. I was like, right, I either take off my kimono and expose the one part of myself that I absolutely hate to cover my arse, or I walk home with my arse hanging out. And both of the two options, I was like, obviously I'm going to have to cover my arse. I don't think I could walk around the streets with that hanging out. But it then occurred to me, I just thought, I don't want to live like this. I don't want to live having to hide my body. And I know it's a personal thing, because realistically when I walked down that street it almost felt like a walk of shame. That's internally what it felt like in my brain, with these arms that I just absolutely did not like exposed. But I thought, and even though no one was really watching, no one was looking at me and be like, oh my god, her arm, no one was thinking that, but that's how you feel when you're insecure about something. And I just thought, I don't want to live like that, you know? I'm in my 20s and I don't want to live making even like fashion choices or whatever it may be to cater for those insecurities. I don't think that's a good thing. So that was my aha moment, and that was when I knew that I was going to need additional support. So I found a PT, reached out to a PT. I'll link the Instagram below. We worked together, had sessions twice a week, predominantly using like kettlebells and dumbbells. I was really weak, and when I say weak, I mean when I remember doing the first shoulder one and I was sat there with like, I think it was 2.5 kg, and I was literally like, bearing in mind I did cheerleading and I would lift people, but I would say I've got stronger legs, which helps me in that kind of sport, but my arms and my shoulders, I just laugh now because I literally remember like my body shaking trying to lift this weight. So that gives a bit of context into the level of strength that I had. I lost quite a bit of weight. I lost 23 kilos in quite a short space of time, and it wasn't anything extreme. I was just in a calorie deficit. I was working out 2-3 times a week, and I was really not strict with it, because that sounds, I don't want people to get the wrong impression that, you know, you were obsessed with it. No, I was just really focused. I was focused that I was absolutely adamant that I wanted to change, and that definitely drove me. So I'll see if I can insert some pictures here as well of, like, you know, before and after and whatnot. And that's when I started an Instagram of kind of kettlebell exercises, things you can do at home. And this was quite helpful really before the whole work from home thing and COVID. Because I just wanted to share that you could still achieve those kind of results without having to even pick up a barbell. You know, I feel like there's a misconception that strength training means doing kind of these scary things if you're not that familiar with the gym and gym equipment. No, like kettlebells and dumbbells are just as effective if you're in your earlier stages of trying to change your body composition, and even later, because the thing is with strength training, obviously you have to increase weights to progressively overload, but you can progressively overload by more tension, so holding those weights for longer or doing more reps and things like that. So I think there's definitely a misconception there, so that's why I was keen to do the Instagram, and it wasn't to try and be, you know, like influencer. I was very conscious just to post the exercises and kind of nothing else, and it did get quite a good engagement. It grew maybe like to about 1,000 followers in that time, and I thought, you know what, if that's helping other people and people can save, a lot of my friends were using it, my auntie and friends and family, things like that, were using it, so it was just kind of more of a bit of a diary really that I could also go back to. It got to a point where I felt like, yeah, I just plateaued a bit. I just felt like I wasn't making progress, and perhaps the rapid change almost gave me false expectations about the type of change I could expect going forward. I probably got to a healthy weight for my height. I'm quite small I am, very short. I'm like between 4'11" and 5 foot. It's around 152.5 centimetres, so do with that information what you will. But yeah, I got to a healthy weight for my height, and it was just really, I guess I did become more comfortable with my own skin, so that drive to try and change lessened a little bit, if I'm honest, because I was feeling a little bit more comfortable in clothes. I wasn't 100% comfortable by any stretch of the imagination, but I felt more confident than, you know, the 3-4 months before that. So I definitely plateaued, and then yeah, I think I was probably just not consistent with if I was consistent with a couple of things, say maybe like my diet and training, but my steps would then decline. My training and my food was actually okay, but actually I was just being completely, I hate the word sedentary because I don't know if I say it right, but you know, I wasn't moving a lot. So I feel like I was consistent in parts, but not all the kind of parts that you needed together to make it work. And then COVID hit, and I did apply for the bodybuilding competition as an incentive for me, as a bit of a goal to work towards. I'm quite a goal-orientated person, and I've competed in cheerleading, so I like the kind of competition atmosphere. So I thought, you know what, let's give that a whirl. Then COVID hit, and I kind of knew that events weren't going to take place, and I thought, you know what, this is a bit of a crazy time. Let's just not take it easy as such, but I didn't have that goal, and I wasn't focused to, you know, try and make that change. I was a little bit in the summer. I wasn't focused to really try and change drastically like that, but I was definitely keeping fit. I was running quite a lot in the summer and built that up and built up my weight training, and I would mark down how I was progressively overloading per session. So I did try and be like strategic about it, but not necessarily with a competition or something like that in mind. And then obviously COVID took a lot longer than everyone expected. I've just kind of been at this level, obviously, as everyone has been for the past year now. COVID's been going on, and with events possibly going ahead, so I have shifted my entry to September of this year, and this is where this kind of YouTube idea came about, because I thought, actually, even if there's nuggets of information that people can take that might find helpful, I've never been, you know, a naturally skinny person. I've really struggled with food in terms of binge eating, not eating, things like that. So I feel like I've got a good perspective to share with others, because it's not going to be easy. There's already been hurdles and bad habits that have creeped in. So I think it's good to give a realistic perspective, you know, of that journey, rather than just seeing someone's transformation picture. I want to include the struggles that I experienced, because I think that's something that's not often as shared. I know there's kind of the body positivity movement, and people are doing like Instagram versus reality, and that's great, but I don't think it brings to light actual issues that people struggle with on the day-to-day basis. This week I've had a few online dance classes and stuff, so I'll chuck a little bit of that in there, and anything really, just anything that goes on in my week. Each week some things will be similar, some things will be different, it depends. And in terms of progress, it's about 26 weeks out until the competition dates. I've actually applied for 2, and they're both in September. It's going to be hard. It is going to be hard. I've got a long way to go, but you know, I'm up for the challenge. So that's the rationale and context behind why I'm doing this video series. So I hope you follow along and join the journey, and you can follow me on Instagram as well. I'll post things more like dance covers and probably light-hearted content on there, and probably snippets of these kind of YouTube videos as well. So yeah, I hope you enjoy, and I hope it helps.
Morning. Out for a walk this morning, day 1. So what I'm doing this morning is I'm actually walking to places I'd normally walk and tracking how many steps that is. So if I ever need to top up, or I'm just shy of my target, I can be like, oh, I'll walk to the canal, walk to the post office. So that's my little strategy this morning. It's pretty cold, it's pretty miserable, but we move. Day 1 of Takeaway Fiend to bodybuilding queen. Hey! Oh shit. Clearly not a pro at this.
I thought I'd add this clip in here just as a little reminder that being active doesn't always necessarily mean these really rigorous and hard training plans and strict nutrition plans. It can just be taking that healthy and active choice, such as taking the stairs. And I was completely guilty of this. I'd plan all these really hard strength training sessions and then still get the lift up to my apartment. And it's just counterproductive, and every little bit does help. And still, by the time that I get to the top of these stairs, I'm still out of breath. So it just proves that it is getting your cardiovascular system completely working. I've really been enjoying smoothies again at the minute, and I love to include bananas in this. I feel like it gives you that boost of energy, and it also provides that nice texture and consistency, so it's nice and smooth to drink. And I'd pair this with some frozen fruit, so depending on what Aldi had in stock, I'd use these in frozen raspberries, strawberries, blueberries, that kind of thing. Just depends what they have, really. I think I prefer the blueberries and the raspberries. They're a little smaller, so it's easier to blend. And I would pair that with either oat milk or almond milk. Today I have almond milk, but I think I actually do prefer oat milk, to be honest. I don't know why, I feel like it just pairs nicer with the vanilla protein powder, but there we are. And I'd use around 200ml, I think, 200 to 300, depending on how I'm feeling, and then top it up with water so it thins it out a little bit. I use vegan protein powder. This particular one, I don't think you can actually buy it anymore. It's called like New 3 or something like that. And I prefer a one called Performance Form, but it's only like 500 grams a bag and it's quite expensive, so this was a budget option. So if anyone else has any recommendations of vegan protein powders that they like that aren't grainy and taste alright, preferably vanilla flavoured, please let me know, that'd be really helpful. I always use some chia seeds, sunflower seeds, that kind of thing as well, to get those healthy fats in there, and I would just blend it all up. And I'd normally do this every single time that I'd have a smoothie, so I thought actually I'll try and freeze them in sections so I can do it on MyFitnessPal and track how much is in each smoothie. So I thought I'd try it and I liked it, so I'm going to order some reusable kind of sandwich bags, so that's why I'm using plastic here. But it worked quite well, minus the chia seeds. I wouldn't put the chia seeds in. It got a little bit messy when I took it out of the freezer and tried to put it back in the blender. The chia seeds just still went everywhere. So if you're going to do this, I would just do it with the fruit itself and then add in the chia seeds, just a teaspoon, and that would work fine. I did want to include obviously the weight and the scale side of stuff, because I want to also emphasize that this is not the main form of like progression that I would focus, but I thought people might find it useful to see the stats and the stuff that it includes on the digital scales. But again, I would just use it as an indication as opposed to, you know, religiously looking at these numbers like you're working in a sales job. Like, that's not how it should work, but it is useful to see in comparison to kind of the low and high expectations where you should kind of sit for each thing, and if there's anywhere that you can improve on that and use it as a benchmark rather than something that's going to put pressure on you to make you train. Instead, I would definitely use measurement. So as you can see here, this is my starting point, and I'll include obviously in this clip where I actually measure and stuff like that. I thought that might be quite useful. I could be doing it completely wrong, but as long as I'm doing the same every time, at least I can see progress that way. So yeah, I mean, I think this and photographs is definitely what I found most helpful, because the scales might not change, but you could see such a difference in your overall composition through a photo, and that ultimately is what matters in terms of if you can feel, you know, that you're stronger, you're lifting heavier, or you're changing, you're seeing your physique change. The scales don't matter in that instance. So yeah, I would really reiterate, definitely take your measurements, and as much as it's not very nice to take photos when you're not very comfortable in your own skin, as I've shown at the beginning with my progress photos, I absolutely hated taking that first photograph. Absolutely despised it, even though I had a smile on my face. I thought I better smile because I don't want to hate my face at the same time as hate my body as well. But I would definitely just take those progress pictures to start with, because it will just give you that like boost when you're having a down day. To actually see how far you've come sometimes is such a massive boost that you need when you're feeling a little motivated or you feel like you're plateauing, sometimes you just need to see how far you've come. So definitely take your measurements and definitely take some photos as well. I'm probably going to aim to do my measurements maybe once a week and try and pick a same day and the same time so it's consistent. Saying that, you could probably do it every couple of weeks, because I think especially with a female cycle and stuff, like your body is going to fluctuate in that time or even in that month. But just for recording and data purposes, it's just interesting to see where those fluctuations change, and in relation to maybe what you're eating and stuff as well, or if you're, you know, unwell or things are kind of stressful at work. It's kind of good to track everything, because everything could have an influence and you can't just pinpoint one thing. So I think it's always useful to just track as much as you can. I think it was, what book did I read? It could have been James Smith's book, but he said like you can't improve what you don't measure, and obviously you can't measure something unless you track it, something like that. Probably written a lot better than how I've just worded it, but something along those lines. And it's so true. You don't know how much you might be changing if you're not writing it down or recording it somewhere. So definitely take your measurements, keep it somewhere safe. I just normally have an Excel spreadsheet that I can just add to. Even Google Sheets is easier because it's online, you can kind of access it anywhere. So even if you're, not that anyone's away at the minute, but I'd travel a lot for work. So if I was away working at weekends and stuff, I'd still have my tape measure in my bag and I'd have my Google Sheets and just do it that way. So you make sure that you're consistent at the same time on the same day. So we've got these. Right, okay, I'm just going to go in. Let's do... I'm just going to go rogue here. Mix it on here. Oh my god, it's literally just dropped and splashed. And it's on my leg. Right, now I really do need a hair grip because that's not, is that going to stay? Right, abort. Oh my god, it's falling from my hair. Slightly random to include, I know, but I thought in the intro I had blonde hair and I was going to end with a completely different colour, so that's why I included it. And it was probably also a video of what not to do and how not to dye your hair. It was pretty traumatic, but it turned out alright. So frustrating. I had such a bad night's sleep, but I feel like it's the worst thing to just lie there when you know you're not getting back to sleep. So I thought I'd just get up and learn some choreo instead and just get myself moving.
So you just came deep, deep, dot, dot. We pulled this in 7, 8, so that leg's already up. So you can go 1 and throw and hit, shoot, and drop it down, and knee, and pull through, eh? Now we just have a fun step here. You're just gonna go bounce, and roll, and nice.
This is my favourite lunch. Bit of halloumi, red pepper hummus with some cucumber. And then as a mini dessert, I'd actually have an orange. Just because it's nice and sweet. The easy peelers, obviously.
Hello. Update, another walk is absolutely pissing it down and I look like shit. So, welcome to the walking crew.
Hello. As you can tell, I'm in bed. I had a nap. I don't regret, so basically, you know, I woke up this morning at 4 o'clock, so I did get up and tidied, cleaned my flat, learnt some choreo, filmed bits, went for a walk, did all these positive things, and then I hit a brick wall. So I was like, oh, I'll just quick nap for an hour. It was probably more like an hour and a half. Little update, so it's around 8:30, 8:45. I haven't eaten dinner yet. I had my lunch that I showed you earlier, probably about 1:30, 1:45. I just feel like that nap has just thrown off in my entire day. I feel very uni-like. I don't have a concept of time. I don't feel tired to go to bed anytime soon. And I've made a weak choice. Give you a little spin. Oh, who am I? This is not going well, is it? There's me like, yeah, I've got all these goals, I'm gonna do this. First hurdle, I'm like, I need some snacks. So this is what I mean by, the journey's gonna be rocky, but tonight, I'm just gonna have a movie night and chill out because I work late. And I'm not gonna say the phrase "you start again tomorrow" because I literally hate that. But I'll have a better day tomorrow, that's what I phrase it as. So, yay.
Definitely not getting used to this, having the camera out in public. I feel a bit embarrassed. However, I was only on about 4,000 steps this morning, so can't use the weather as an excuse because I live in Manchester and it's fucking shit all the time.
This is my normal setup for work, and I'm also doing uni as well, so I'd split my time between the two. I have flexible hours, so I just kind of work around it, but as you can see, firstly my flat's really cold, so that's why I wear a dressing gown. And you can excuse the double chin as well. But as you can see, if I'm literally sat here all day, it's really not great if I don't go out for these walks and stuff. And it's very, very easy to work by the kitchen, eat what I want, and then not move. So I'm very conscious to try and get those steps in and get those walks in, because I'm literally sat on my ass all day on a laptop, which is not great, especially for your back and stuff as well. I definitely feel it. And that's where I feel like I definitely miss the gyms and miss strength training in the gym. I've definitely felt it on like my lower back and stuff. And my core is completely diminished as well. And that obviously supports your lower back. So I'm really excited actually for the gyms to come back. Not that that's an excuse, you can definitely still work out from home and there's lots of things I could be doing. But yeah, I think just to actually tie the two together, that actually your exercise and activity choices can actually support in whatever you do, whether that's, oh, I can't say that word again, sedentary, whether it's a sedentary job or if you have a more active job as well. Either way, if you just build up strength in various places, that is going to support you in whatever activity you're kind of doing at your job as well, just to make sure that you don't injure yourself really. You don't want to be injured and put yourself out even more and then not be able to exercise because you're injured. So yeah, that's really important. Also just googled how to say that word. I've been completely saying it wrong unless Google's text-to-speech is just completely off. I still can't say it if I tried. Sedentary. Sedentary. Nah, sedentary, that's how I'm going to say it. So I thought I'd come on here. I'm supposed to do a dance class in like 15 minutes and I'm in one of those moods, you know, you just want to cancel everything and just be. I have been out for walks. I've done about 14,000 steps today, which is good for fresh air, but I just want to stay out there, and now it's dark and yeah. I feel like I'm gonna sack off the dance class, which is really annoying, and I feel like people just think I'm flaky, and I mean it is a flaky move, but it's just how I'm feeling. I don't even want to like order food or anything like that either. I just feel like a bit meh. So So yeah, I thought it was going to be a better day today. It was in terms of food. I mean, I've had some Cajun chicken, hummus and cucumber, lots of it. But yeah, thought I'd share the lows as well as, I say the highs. Have I had a high yet? Debatable. Yeah, meh day. Meh day. 15 minutes later.
2, 3, and 4, and 5, 6, and 7, and 8, and... I think you're gonna dance with Erin. Right.
So I did the dance class, great, got my steps up, great. Also ordered takeaway, not great. Thanks Nando's. Slightly retro and a bit of a throwback, but I got my PS1 working with the old dance mat game, and oh my god, I ended up spending about half an hour and doubling my step count. It was fun.
to my left is an inward turn. Go ahead, go for it. Turn. No, the other way. That's out the door. That's it. There you go. That's it. So let's go. 5, 6, 7, 8. Go 1, 2, 3, and 4. We go 5 and 6 and the 7, 8. Going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Go 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5 and 6. Go 7, 8. Go 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8. Go 1, 2, 3, 4. Change, turn, and go. Yes.
I did dance on this fine Friday night, but I also ordered another goddamn takeaway. So this is very fitting for episode 1 anyway.
Okay, let's go team, well done.
and rounding off the Saturday with another dance event, and this was just purely the warm-up, and it was actually really challenging, but it was good to get moving again. Thank you so much if you made it this far and you watched the entire YouTube video. I really appreciate it and appreciate your support on my first vlog. I know when I was editing I thought the footage is a little bit all over the place, but it gave me some really good ideas for the next one and how to structure it and what to include. Hopefully I'll include more workouts, more food, things like that, things that you might find a little bit more helpful for your journey as well. It just so happened that week was particularly dance heavy, but I will still include dance if I take any dance lessons and stuff like that. But yeah, thank you again so much, and subscribe and like and all the rest of it. And yeah, hopefully see you next week.